What's up, everybody? This is Case Study QB, and we are the Political Junkies back at it again. We are in the pre-show, so that means at 8 o'clock sharp, we're going to start the show. So we just hanging out. I love PJ All for Nothing's in the building. PJ Chris is in the building. PJ Holly Horn is in the building. Steven Shumate is in the building. Much love to everybody. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. You're rocking with Case and the Political Junkies, like my person PJ All for Nothing said. I was going to say my man, but let me know what your sex is or what you want to be called, your pronouns. Peoples, what's up? What's going on? Let me go around the horn. John, Izzy, Gabe, and my man Carlito. Now, we're missing our producer, Bendone. Much love to my producer, Bendone. He got I don't know if he cares if I tell people, but he's got an issue.
HIPAA violation. HIPAA violation.
Okay, yeah. You don't want HR. We don't want to get in trouble with HR. HR gonna come sue us or something, but nothing super bad. No STDs or anything like that. Right?
Oh my god!
Wow, I think that was the worst.
We definitely started it great.
Bedon right now is wishing you would have just said what it actually was.
Yeah, so he's got an ear infection. Let me just put it at that. That's basically what it is. But anyway,
an ear infection could be a STD.
Depending. It has to do with bacteria, right?
Hey.
All right, too much TMI. And the viewers.
Game is always the raunchiest.
So
That's my job.
Let's go straight into the pre-show. I'm gonna share my screen. We're gonna see what's going on, the latest stuff going on in the Twitterverse. Let me show you guys this craziness that happened recently. Oh, I don't know if I shared the sound. Hold on one moment.
We're not hearing it.
Yeah, let me make sure. Oh, yep, that's exactly it. Share screen. Oh yeah. What's going on? There we go. All right. Boom.
No, you escalated the situation. You escalated the situation. Right now. Don't put your hands on me. You're out. What are you doing? You're supposed to de-escalate. How is this de-escalating? How the fuck is this de-escalating, dog? What are you doing? What's your badge number? Badge number, bitch. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why is he under arrest? Why is he under arrest?
This guy's in the 60s.
He did nothing for this.
The old man that he has on the floor, that the cop has on the floor.
How? Watching that cart's not enough for you? Watching that shopping cart's not enough for you? No, you escalated the situation. You escalated the situation and you made this happen. It's clear. It's clear as day. You escalated the situation. It's two people having a conversation with each other and you decided to escalate the situation by shoving him. Let me go. I didn't touch you. So if they don't kiss the ring, they're arrested. If they don't kiss the ring, they're arrested, basically, right? If they don't kiss the ring, they're arrested. Other, we'll go out. Let me go. All I said is you keep your hands off me. That's all I do. Opposite. You're not de-escalating. You gotta keep your hands off of him. What's going on between you? It don't matter. Nothing happened.
So basically, this is the first time I've seen something like this happen where that lady just came and kind of separated, like she just did some jiu-jitsu type of stuff and separated the cops from the old man. And it looked like
she was the one de-escalating.
She was. Izzy. This is crazy.
I mean, we talk, not we, but like, in general, you talk about how, women are always the ones having to de-escalate men, and especially black women having to do the job. And, fitting that stereotype where it's like the woman is the one that has to do the job for the men. And not that there was anybody doing anything wrong there except for the cop. But I'm just saying, once again, a woman steps in and has to do the job for us,
So let me show real quick back. So this guy, originally it looked like the cop was trying to push or was doing something to this person in the gray shirt. and the old man was the one like saying, "Hey, stop that! Don't do that." And that's where the aggression went to the old man. So again,
do we know the backstory here? Like, how did this? Like, why he was even called there? What was even going on? Do we know?
Okay, this says cop in Minneapolis goes on a power trip and assault a 64-year-old black man before arresting him for no reason. Now, I didn't read if there's any specific thing. Okay, this is it again. This is part 2.
More? Oh my goodness.
All right, so let's check this out.
I told you, don't that's all I said. I didn't put my hands on you. You should have put your hands on me. We weren't fighting. We was talking.
2 people were talking.
We weren't pushing. We didn't touch each other. Only I just said, don't put your hands on me. You cannot put your hands on me. No, you can't.
Yes,
not without just reason. I didn't cuss at you. I didn't
Officer,
you gotta be.
Come on.
Come
on. You gotta be.
You literally escalated the situation. They were talking to each other. No pushing happened until you pushed them. No one pushed anything until you pushed them.
You gotta be kidding.
I was standing right there. No one pushed anyone until you pushed them, officer. Come on.
No. You know, man, what's wrong with you?
What's your name? Tell me your name.
Yeah.
Troy Lee Phillips.
Troy Lee Phillips?
Yes.
Spell your last name for me.
Billups.
All right.
What are you arresting for? For what? I didn't
That's
do
Officer K. Lang, I believe.
I didn't do nothing. All I did is tell him don't touch the
You're saying back up.
Now they're interfering because they tightened up. I didn't do nothing. And you know I didn't do nothing.
That officer K. Lang,
What's
right
gonna
there.
beat me up?
Officer Lang,
What you
right
gonna do,
there,
kill me?
escalated the
Gonna kill
situation.
me?
Officer Lang escalated the situation. This man was having a conversation with someone else. No pushing, no shoving, no physical interaction occurred until Officer Lang initiated the physical action as seen in this video.
You're terrible.
All right, well, here it is.
Hey, I'm not on the store location, bro. I'm making sure that they good.
So this is my thing. Doesn't it take, like, you got to do all this paperwork now? Like, just for a guy that was talking, apparently we heard what happened. He was talking to somebody else. I don't know if it got heated or whatever. But then you have this cop that just gets involved and makes it worse. Now you got to do all this paperwork just because you want to handcuff this guy who said don't touch him.
Maybe for the quota, you know? Oh, go ahead, Gabe.
No, I was gonna say. I mean, I'm a big believer that there's only 2 types of people that become cops: people that are bullies and people that got bullied. And this is clearly an example of that. Kid was a herb in high school and was bullied. You can see in his face, he looks like a wimp. And this is his power trip that he's able to do. He probably never had a black friend in his life. He probably didn't go to school with black people. And to him, he sees this caricature of a black man that is scary. Meanwhile, it's a 60-year-old man that's not bothering anybody. And you just can't communicate with a member of your community. But he's just like the threat. He looks terrified. The cop, if you look at his eyes, he looks as if 5 people have guns drawn on him with the terror that's in his face. Meanwhile, it's an old man that is like barely mobile. And then he can't even take him down. He can't even get the guy restrained. The 63-year-old man, like, he's a weakling. He's a wimp. And again, that's a lot of the problem that we have, you know, is that these guys, they feel everything is a threat. If it's a Brahmin, it's a black man, and you question the authority. All he said was, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that. You can't do this." You question the authority, and hopefully you have your camera recording at any interaction. If it's a stop, if it's anything, you gotta have your camera recording. And luckily, the bystanders nearby had theirs, because you know what would have happened if they didn't have any recording and no body cams. They could turn off the body cams, and then this guy could have a charge, and it could ruin the rest of his life. You know, so it's just a very disgusting situation. One of many I've seen this week alone.
It's I would have even before I even saw. I was about to say I was like, guarantee you this has to be Minneapolis or NYPD or one of them. And I think I share an article where what was that police chief from another nearby city, stuff like that, that talked about how bad, like how he cannot support anymore the Minneapolis police, or like how just they just a terrible, and again, like CNN is not going to report this, they're not going to talk about this, but they will talk about how the redistricting the police department in Minneapolis didn't pass, and how the voter voted against it. But this is the reason why. This is the reason why people, Minneapolis have shown time and time again, it's just really bad policing, and nothing's gonna happen to that cop. It's just gonna be like, oh, okay, well, sorry, we make a mistake, keep it going.
Yeah, I don't like Cenk Uygur, but one good quote that he had was the worst crime in America is disrespecting a cop. And it's one of those things that's true. And anything that's not even just disrespect, but it could be interpreted as disrespect. Advocating for your rights, saying things like, "Oh, I have the right to record, officer." Oh no, you don't. I tell you what your rights are. It's very shaky, the violations of our civil rights that occur on a daily basis, and it's very important. Just number one, record, and also don't talk to police. Don't talk to police ever. Maybe we could start using the pre-show for more things like this, but don't talk to police. If they ask you any questions, don't talk to them. If they pull you over and say, you know how fast you're going, don't answer. Be like, officer, I'm not sure. Because if they get anything from you, they're talking to you to get evidence. And anything you say, it will be used. That's not just a thing in the shows. They will use anything and everything that you say against you. I was just watching a video that said that there's nothing that you say to an officer that will help you, because if you say something that is in the officer's favor, or that's in your favor, exculpatory evidence, they don't even have to use that because that's hearsay. But if the officer recollects something from your conversation, that's admissible because he's the witness, and so it's a really, it's just better off not to discuss it. The officer, give me the ticket. If there's a ticket, we could take it from there, but just don't record police and don't talk to them.
Don't ask for their badge either. Like that's a crime too. Like you ask them for, hey, what's your badge number? They might punch you in the face.
Yeah, dude, I learned this that I learned about that when I was in college. I got pulled over, and I really didn't mean anything by it. He was like, oh, something. I was, oh, what's up, officer? How are you tonight and stuff. And my man was like, what's up? What's up? I could arrest you right now. How disrespectful are you? And I was like.
That reminds me when parents talking to kids and they're like, didn't I ask you a question? What did I just say? Well, dad, shut up, don't talk back to me. So it's like, if you talk, you're in trouble. If you don't say nothing, you're in trouble.
Dude, I was like shocked, because I was like, I didn't mean it in that way. And he was just like, I could arrest you. And he was like, for disrespectful. And I was just like, then I just got smart. And I was like, you must just graduated the academy last week or so, right? And then he got more mad and he gave me a ticket. But I was just like,
I remember one of
you was playing with your life over there, bro. Go ahead, dude.
On the whole driving, no, I think I've shared the story of my cousin's police brutality, but I won't share that again. But I was with one of our good friends, Izzy, you and I, the friend we were hanging out with in DC a few weeks ago, and we were driving down the road. He was driving, he's black, and driving normal speed, no red lights, no stop signs. A cop from the other side of the road did a vicious U-turn to pull him over. And I'm like, oh man, what do we do? The cop, we're 4 college kids in the car driving one of the kids to the airport. And he's like slamming in the car, get your hands where I can see them, this. And you're trying to figure, we're all like, we don't know what happened. And the cop never said why he pulled him over. And then he gave him 4 or 5 tickets. And all the tickets were stuff that were violations that he couldn't tell from just my friend driving. So one was expired registration, bald tires, it was a bunch of stuff. Of course, the registration is a problem, but aside from that, the bald tires and all that, you can't see that when you're driving the opposite way on a 40-mile-per-hour road. So he just pulled him over for being black, and he didn't like that, and then decided to give 5 citations or 6 citations instead of just giving a warning and letting him walk away. And we were nice. He slammed on the car, telling everybody, we were all scared. We're at that time 19, and I hadn't really experienced stuff like that, and it was pretty scary that just for doing nothing you get pulled over. I could imagine the horror stories that you guys have as well.
And think about what that did for him as a college student, like how far behind that put him to even just have to pay those tickets. You know, we're all broke, you know, and so you talk about like disadvantage and advantages that, you know, white people don't have to go through, you know.
And then one last point real quick, and this is why I always tell people, like, I learned, like, you know how we like Latinos love to keep our flag, you know, pride in our car. I tell everybody, just take it off, man. Because like anytime I used to have like my flag in my car, dude, I was constantly getting pulled over. I was like the dude, I'll be in a red light and he'll be like, you're like, oh, you were going 53 miles per hour. So I was like, I just left a red light. How am I going 53 and a 37 and a 35? Like, it makes no sense. Dude, I have taken my flag off. And ever since I taken my flag, I have never been pulled over.
Now they think you look white. They think you're white now because you light skinned.
Oh, white, all right.
So I wanted to show this comment real quick because that's my fault. I did not actually. I heard about this case where somebody got shot in a wheelchair in Arizona. I heard about it. I could not watch it. I'm sorry, guys. I couldn't. I heard about it. I was like, "There's no way I'm watching." I'm like a sponge, like with my empathy. If I see something that's that terrible, like I would literally soak it in and it would make me depressed. So I was like, just for mental health. But I definitely want to bring attention to it. Thank you, Stephen. That it's crazy that somebody in a wheelchair will get shot so many times. It's just, we need police reform. How are we going to get it? I don't know, but I hope we get it. Did you guys hear about that case?
No, I didn't hear about it.
I just heard about it in the chat just now.
Okay.
I'm surprised, but it sounds devastating.
He stole his car because he kept getting pulled over too much. He's a black guy with a red Benz. So a red car, a red nice car, luxury car with a black guy driving it, attracting attention. He got pulled over so much that he sold his car and got something else. That's how bad it was. How many times he got pulled over.
Yeah,
Bendon is in the chat.
Yeah, Bendon is in the chat. Much love. I hope you don't watch the beginning, Bendon. Don't watch the beginning of the show.
Everybody whisper really low for Bendon so his ear doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Much love to you, Bendon.
801.
Oh man, we blew right past that. Let's
get
when
you got louder, we'll talk about with you want to hurt his ear.
Let's get this party started. And we're gonna have no music because we miss Bendon, but whatever.
We're doing it for solidarity.
What's up, everybody? This is Case Study QB, and we are in the. I was going to say progressive war room. This is not the progressive war room. This is the political junkies, and we about to start this show. We got a lot going on. We got No Cow Zone. We got a couple articles that we're going to talk about, and I got a couple clips that we're going to talk about. But mainly, we're going to have fun and try to make this a really good day. How's you doing, my man? I'm going around the horn. How you doing, my man? John, how you doing, my man?
Good. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, Izzy.
Doing all right. You know, I got stood up by you on Saturday, but it's cool. I'm still here. Still happy to be here, you know.
I missed the text. And I was in New Jersey anyway, so I wouldn't have been able to see you in New York. But much love to you, my man. Gabe.
Can't wait till the holidays. I'm counting down the days.
Yeah. Carlito.
Work is crazy, but I got a job. So
yeah, that's right. So let me start
this mentality.
Uh-oh. Let me start.
Yeah, I'm quitting right now.
There we go.
I just clipped this like maybe 30 minutes ago. So anybody, this is a exclusive Case Study QB clip. Yeah.
Senate back in session, as we talked about, with an exclusive look at new drone technology here on MSNBC, making air-based attacks more precise and possibly safer for bystanders. NBC News got a first view of a weapon dubbed the Switchblade 300. The drone uses kamikaze-style attacks, meaning the device itself slams into a target instead of launching a separate missile. NBC's Ken Delaney got a first-hand look himself. He is with us now. Ken, tell us a little bit about this new weapon and what it means more broadly.
Hallie, this is a game changer in ways that are both good and bad for the American military and the American people. First, the good news, we were able to, for the first time, take video of this tiny, really small drone. It's 5.5 pounds. Infantry can carry this into battle in a backpack and fire it over the horizon at a threat without risking their own lives. And we watched as they put it through the window of a truck, essentially, and it's extremely precise so that they could kill the driver, but not the passenger of that truck, for example. And there's even a wave-off capability. So up to 2 seconds before the strike, if they see civilians coming into the frame, they can wave off and cancel the strike. That's the good news. The American military is fielding this weapon. The bad news is our adversaries have it too. And so do militia groups and potentially terrorist groups. So the Iranian-backed militias in Iraq, they've been striking U.S. bases. This is the type of weapon, this kamikaze suicide drone, that they have been using. So far, no Americans have been killed, but it's only a matter of time, and there really is no good defense for this weapon. They are cheap. They are becoming ubiquitous. The Chinese and the Russians make them. In the Azerbaijan-Armenian conflict, the Azerbaijani military wiped out the Armenian military in a matter of weeks with these weapons. So they really have the potential to change warfare. They are a scary terrorism weapon. And take a listen to what the CEO of this company, AeroVironment, had to say about the benefits, though, for precision for the U.S. military.
By far, the biggest one is its ability to be incredibly precise by eliminating to reducing the collateral damage significantly. This is the next generation of intelligent missile systems that has the loitering capability, a wave-off capability, and also precision effects on the target.
So it is precise, of course, but Hallie, no weapon is perfect.
Senate, back in.
So it's precise. It's precise. It's precise. It gets right to the target.
But they already got that built-in excuse. But no weapon's perfect. So when they have collateral damage.
I know, right? But I mean, I couldn't do it. I couldn't be somebody thinking, all right, how can we kill more effectively? Like, I just couldn't have the job personally. It's
I just want to know. I just want to know how much stocks Nancy Pelosi owned in that company. I'm gonna research that. I'm gonna research that later.
Drone bombs fired.
Yo, I saw this. I was like, I gotta clip this thing. This is like absolutely ludicrous. And then they're talking about other countries already have this and they're already using it. I mean, that's
the crazy part. Like, okay, so all right, great. U.S. has this or whatever, which is not great, obviously. But
yeah,
Iran already has it too. I mean, then damn, what? Like, I don't know. It's the more efficient we get at killing, the more I just want to leave this planet. And then also they're talking about how you can call it off within 2 seconds before a strike. Like, who doesn't see that going wrong, right? I mean, what is it gonna do? Make a wrong turn and then hit a different building instead?
Easy. You could go to Mars with Jay Bezos.
Yeah, no thanks. No, I'd rather stay here. Never mind.
So my man Abel, much love to Abel in the chat. He said it's the Call of Duty care package. Oh man, I miss Bendone. Bendone would appreciate that joke. I know Carlito does. Let's see what else is here. Eventually, this is a funny one. Eventually, these things will be 3D printable. Eventually.
Fact.
Oh my gosh,
if they're not already.
Like, we got the dogs that, like, the robotic dogs that look like real dogs. Then they got the humans that's looking like real humans. And they're like, I mean, the robots that looking like real humans. It's just, we're living in a scary and scary. I hear about people talking about, I want to put off having kids or maybe not even have kids. Like, I can't even be mad at them at this point. I know definitely Izzy. He's like a thumbs up. All right.
At least the robots dance, though. I mean, come on.
All right, I'm gonna mention one last little tidbit here, and then we're gonna go to Carlito's rundown. All right, so this is a article. This is a tweet. Man, let me see if I can
look at the title. Look at the title already.
I'm trying to make it bigger. My bad. Anyway, I'll read it to you. Oh Lord,
I
went the wrong direction.
Scroll wheel the other way. Scroll up.
The thing is, it's a slow response. But anyway, while I bring this up, it's basically an article. Somebody wrote an op-ed talking about Governor Murphy, who's my governor, says he needs to listen to more moderate voices.
But you're not allowed to take time off.
I know, right? We're missing right now, but all right. So basically,
donate to computer. Need a faster computer.
So it says Governor Murphy needs to listen to more moderate voices, right? While in the last election, there were two governors that were up for election, the Virginia one, which is where my man John is, and then me, I'm in New Jersey. The person that won was the only person that had the support of Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders rallied for Governor Murphy and gave a full-throated endorsement of him. He won. The Terry McAuliffe over there in Virginia did not have Bernie. He was a Clintonite. He lost. And then this is the type of advice that they come up with. Governor Murphy needs to listen to more moderate voices in New Jersey.
It's the same thing.
He could listen and then do the opposite.
Exactly.
But he was the first. He was the first one that won back to back, right? Like in New Jersey, like usually don't say
exactly
back governor. And then the way that they sell it to you is they're like, oh well, it was close. It shouldn't have never been disclosed. And you know that's basically a loss because he didn't listen to the moderate. He lost those moderate vote. In Virginia, they didn't ask any of the left candidate or anybody to come in here. Like I said, they did not. They just focused on that and they focused on their base. They didn't want anything to do with the left. And if you look at it, I think the number was like 800,000 less vote he received than the previous governor or than Biden or something like that. So
800,000?
800,000 less vote than Biden did in the primary. Some crazy stuff like that. So
that you just touched on
losers. Go ahead, Gabe.
I was gonna say exactly. You took the words out of my mouth. Is imagine listening to losers trying to tell you how to win. It was right now the Democratic Party is super slacking. They're losing across the board. The poll numbers, and then the one election they win over here, they're like, oh, by the way, you got to do this. Shut up, loser! Like, get out of my face. Like, go lose something over there. It was the same thing when Donna Shalala lost in my district to like. Freaking what was she to like it was a Republican like almost like oh my god, Marjorie Taylor Greene, but here and a Latina, and then you have Donna Shalala on CNN and MSNBC trying to give advice to listen to the moderates. Like get out of here.
Yeah. Absolutely.
As much as we clown on you, Gabe, like, you know, you say it all the time. I mean, these guys keep coming in with the same exact strategy over and over and over again. It keeps being proven to not work. And what do? Just continue with the same.
Exactly. So let's move on. Unless anybody have any last words to say. Any last thing? Everybody good? All right. Yeah. So no cow zone, just to tease no cow zone before we go to Carlito's rundown. So Carlito, get ready, my man. So the first no cow zone we're going to talk about is, should there be a maximum age for Congress? And that came about, I thought about that no cow zone because Elon Musk apparently tweeted out that there should be a maximum age. And of course he's having a beef with Bernie. He's always beefing with Bernie. So we know what his intentions are. But I thought it was a good question actually. And we had, I put out a poll and I got to see what the latest update is. But from what I saw, we'll go to the poll at that time. And then the other no cow zone is going to be, should Stacey Abrams be primary from the left? So this is going to be very interesting. We're going to talk about the whole Georgia governor's race, which my man Carlito is in Georgia. So he's definitely, we're going to listen to get his opinion and go from there. So with that said, let's go to Carlito's rundown.
Check it. First story. Innocent black man, 61, who was jailed for raping author Alice Sebold after she wrongly identified him, had no idea she made millions off the story while he lived in windowless squalor after finishing 16-year jail sentence, by Jennifer Smith for DailyMail.com. Now that's a long title, but it says most of it right there. So the amazing part of the story is how he found out. Netflix was making a movie based on the book, but the producer found inconsistencies in the book and police reports when he was doing research. He got fired for, trying to do the right thing, but he hired a private investigator, and now Anthony Broadwater has had his conviction overturned, and there's a documentary in the works of his story. The cops that lied are still chilling, and the author is still rich. So how much should he sue her and the city for, Gabe?
All of it. When OJ got acquitted, and then they ended up getting all the proceeds from his book deal, the victim's family in the civil trial, and now OJ can't make $1 off of talking about that situation. It all goes to the family of those victims, and I think here all book proceeds from this book should go to him. And we've seen this story time and time again. It seems like in this case the woman was raped, because we've also seen the times where a woman who was in a consensual relationship with a gentleman and the family finds out, or she gets pregnant, then goes and says she was raped, and they'll ruin a black man's life, because it always happens to black men. I don't really hear those stories about white men. Then it is a recurring theme. So in this case, that there is an avenue for restitution, I think without a doubt, he should be getting the majority, if not all, of proceeds of sales from that book. I don't know about her other books, if they're related to this at all. And if there's a Netflix series or Netflix movie, all those proceeds or majority should go to him as well, because he's the one that suffered. And it's when you go into the details, they were saying that she didn't even pick him out the lineup. She picked another man out the lineup.
That's where I get a little confused, because like, if that's the case, because I read that too, is this really on her? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, it's both, because the cops lied because she picked somebody, and I don't even know if that's even the right person, but the cops wanted to pin it on this guy, and she went along with it and just did whatever the cops say. But then in her book, she wrote things that were clearly false according to the private investigator and the things that were in there. Because when the producer was looking at the researching, it's like, this doesn't make sense, And then when he tried to find out more, they fired him. And the director wanted to change the character from black to white for some reason. So I don't know if he didn't want to make it a race thing, but it was crazy.
Okay, I missed all that, so that's my bad. Yeah, no, just take all her money. I agree.
Yeah,
and then also, like, this cop, like those cops, like whatever pension or anything they have, take them out too. But we know that it's not going to happen. But
but the story says that he is working with attorneys to prepare lawsuits against her and her publisher. In the chat, For Nothing said that basically took this man's life away, give him everything and anything. And it's extra sad because him and his wife wanted to have kids. His wife wanted to have kids. And he said, no, I cannot do it because I do not want my kids to have my wrongful conviction over their head. Growing up saying like, your dad is a rapist, blah, blah, blah. Because he could have gotten out a little early if he just admitted to it, but he maintains innocence the whole time, spent 16 years in jail. When he went on parole, because he wouldn't admit guilt, they wouldn't let him out early. So then he was living in squalor with his wife. At least he found somebody to be with him, but she wanted kids, and he didn't want to, because, he didn't want basically the kids their whole life to have that cloud over their head. And it's too late now, but it's crazy, man. That's like extra, pain and suffering money right there.
Now, I'm not trying to defend the woman, but I wonder, like, what compels someone to throw some other random person under the bus for a crime that heinous? You know what I mean? Like, why? What was it that got her to like throw this random man under the bus when somebody else clearly did this to her? It's hard for me to wrap my mind around.
Yeah, I mean, you could, not to make excuses, but if somebody goes through something traumatic, she could just want somebody to blame. She feels pain and she wants revenge somehow. And if the cops said this is the guy, she'll go with it just to have somebody to point the finger at.
Or maybe just any black person will do at that point.
Yeah, maybe.
I'll tell you this much: she made $1 million, or she made millions from this story. So if it was an inconclusive story, if it didn't have that villain, who knows if it would have been worth $1 million? You know what I'm saying? So maybe that was, and she's an author too, right? So she knows how stories work. So who knows if that's part of her thinking?
And you embellish a few details to make the story more juicy. Once you're recapping, I think everyone does that when we're telling stories to each other. Like, oh yeah, and then I jumped 10 feet across the street and all this, and it was really like you did a hop. So in this case, that really affects somebody's life. You're not only was this person wrongfully convicted, but now they're being made into the villain of this book, and that book is sold a ton of copies, enough to make this woman never have to work again.
From that book, and then she went to make another book, and so it catapulted her career as a writer.
Look at that. Look at that right there.
CMT said in the chat, well, this is Innocence Project. It was not. It was the producer paid for a private investigator out of his own pocket.
Wow.
And it sounds like they do have a suspect, but nobody knows if they're doing anything with it.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. All right, guys. Carlito.
All right. Second story. NYC opens first supervised drug consumption facilities as smarter approach to opioid crisis by Kalorama, Lauren Cook at PX11.com. New York City opened its first supervised drug consumption sites called overdose prevention centers on Tuesday. Although this is nothing new in other parts of the world, Major Bill de Blasio held the facilities as the first publicly recognized service of this kind in the U.S. According to the Department of Health, the overdose prevention centers will provide a safe place for people to use drugs, including heroin and other narcotics, and receive medical treatment. They can also connect with addiction and social services. Opponents, however, see the sites as a moral failure that essentially sanctions people harming themselves, and federal law bans operating in place for narcotics use. Most of the opponents of this kind, as you can imagine, they're usually Republicans and or religious people who had no problem supporting, morality of like Trump, for example. So it's very selective. I think they should be placed under psychiatric care to fix whatever part of the brain decides what's moral and what isn't. What do you think, Izzy?
Yeah, I mean, they need the help more than some of these drug users, that's for sure. There was this New York representative, Nicole Malliotakis, a Republican who represents parts of Brooklyn and Staten Island, said she sent a letter to Merrick Garland about, the city's new facilities. And she's basically saying, instead of focusing on the root cause of the drug epidemic, de Blasio is enabling drug cartels that continue to break our laws, blah, 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 Republican BS, right? But, okay, instead of... Carlito, exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth. What is the root cause? And what are you doing about it? I mean, what has any Republican ever done about the root cause other than try to shut down the borders, which we know doesn't do anything? So, yeah, it's just, obviously Republican hypocrisy like crazy. We all know that, at the very least, decriminalizing all drugs would be a great move to make, or at least that's how I feel. I don't know if everybody on this panel feels that way, but it's basically been proven that when you decriminalize drugs, you're going to see drug rates go down. You're going to see overdoses go down. You're going to see all that stuff go down. I may even be open for legalizing all drugs. I'm not really sure if that's, I haven't done a lot of research into that, but that's something I may be open to as well. But at the very least, this is as close as anywhere in the U.S. has come to, at least decriminalizing. Mm-hmm. And I think this is a wonderful thing.
So imagine,
I think Oregon legalized all the drugs, right?
All drugs?
Decriminalized.
I think it's all drugs, yeah.
It might be decriminalized.
Decriminalized. But I know it was all drugs.
Okay, then that's even better. Yeah, but we should be following Oregon then.
But also like
he's saying, focus on the root cause. Imagine if somebody went to her and said, okay, root causes: poverty, lack of jobs, lack of education. Let's spend some money on schools, on training, jobs, minimum wage. Oh no, that's socialism. So they're not gonna do it.
Yeah, exactly. We already know that.
So, this reminds me of that Wire, and I'm going to go to Gabe after, but this reminds me of the Wire, where they had an episode where they experimented in the TV show
Amsterdam
District, right?
No, he called it Amsterdam.
Was it called? It was called Amsterdam. I can't remember.
Basically a project or a building or a block.
Yeah,
they call it Amsterdam, and I forgot why they changed it. Like what? Amsterdam? What you call? But yeah, that's what they called them.
It was an area where they decriminalized drugs, and they allow for people to use the needles, and they provided for clean needles and things like that. And it was like so progressive at the time, like they couldn't even imagine something like that happening in real life. And they also reacted a certain way in the show as well. But it seems like, as much as we always, complain and stuff, it seems like progress is happening very slowly. As far as environments, like having a Green New Deal and saving the planet, no, we're not doing it fast enough. But in these other areas, it seems like we're slowly progressing. And who I was going to go to, Gabe? I think Gabe.
Oh yeah, no, I was going to say to add on to Izzy's. I think aside from decriminalization aside from decriminalization, it should also be legalizing, taxing, and regulating the way that we've done with marijuana in places like Colorado. So the decriminalization is great because it doesn't criminalize the user, but the taxing and the regulating is important. One, tax revenue, great. Secondary is if you just decriminalize it, it doesn't solve the problem of the drugs coming across the border, the bad quality drugs, the drugs getting laced with stuff that are causing these deaths, and the fentanyl and all that. And if you legalize, tax, and regulate it, if you have pure cocaine, it's not going to be as bad as if you have cocaine laced with fentanyl that could be an instant death. So while drug use is not something that's healthy, is something that neither is alcohol, and how many people drink alcohol on a daily basis. So it's one of those things that a human should be allowed to put, I say this as a non-drug user or occasional experimenter, but I think that humans should be allowed, and Americans should be allowed for our freedoms to put whatever you want in your body, as long as you're not hurting anyone else. And I think that's the key factor that we have to look at. Countries like Portugal have already done it, and they've shown that it's been successful. In Oregon, I just Googled right now that since it was implemented, the drug arrests have plummeted, and that they're not seeing any increase in violence or anything like that. So the numbers are there, and we have to do it in more places. And hopefully this New York experiment serves as a trampoline for everyone else to jump off of and continue.
And it's stuff like this too that makes me, we talk about like the different states and all that, where we all live, where we're, what's going on at each one of our states. Like, this is one of the reasons why I feel like I just can't leave New York, because as messed up as we are, we just got rid of Cuomo, but we then we do stuff like this, and it's like, yeah, like at least we're heading in a somewhat of a right direction. Like you said, Case, it's not quickly enough, it's not the change isn't vast enough, but at least we're still kind of sort of headed in the right direction versus basically the rest of this entire country, which is I mean, just kind of like going to hell in a handbasket real quick.
But it's also like, one good thing that could come out of this is like people that are going in there, they're administrated, right? They probably know how to use the needle, use whatever. So they could also even talk to them. They could say, oh, like, maybe let's talk about it. Why you're using, and get them in some type of programs to say, okay, like, we're going to, put you in this program where they could decrease it, decrease the amount of time they use it per week or something, and maybe get out of it. So I think that could also be a good benefit out of it.
Yeah, the sites that they're doing this in are going to be sites that were already giving out clean needles to the users, and probably also offering some sort of counseling. So yeah, that's exactly right, John. They're already going to incorporate all that together.
Awesome. All right, Carlito.
Oh for nothing in the chat said, never understood what throwing someone in a cage because they have a problem and haven't hurt anyone. It's a victimless crime. And Holly Horn said it's a medical issue. And that is correct. When a lot of people do this, it's not, they're not out killing anybody. They're at home or wherever, just trying to medicate themselves from whatever, issues, stresses, as somebody said in the chat, are in their life. And then, it's not crazy. I mean, if you're not hurting anybody, just whatever. And then having it in these places makes it safer because, like Gabe was talking about, drugs that could be laced. You have these facilities where if they have something that, or they have a reaction, there's medical personnel there to take care of them immediately. So, I mean, it's a win-win.
100%. All right. Any last words on this? All right. I'm going to go to this clip.
Speak to one of the migrants that I've just been speaking with a short time ago. His name is Alex. You're from El Salvador, right?
Yes, sir.
Sir, how long have you been here?
I've been here 7 months, sir.
7 months?
Yes, sir.
How difficult have the conditions been here?
Well, you can see right now the little, I don't know, I could call it house, I don't know. Camp, I don't know.
So,
but the problem, yeah.
And Craig, we spoke with several other people, including a woman and your young children, who said that it's extremely difficult here. Other migrants have told us that, they potentially, face the fear of kidnapping here and, other extortion. That's what migrant advocates say is so dangerous here. But, sir, I want to ask you, yes. Do you have any idea how long before your asylum claim is processed? Do you know how long before you could potentially go to the United States?
I don't know, but maybe in January. Maybe when they start the new year.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
Thank you, Alex, for speaking with us. And Craig, I don't know. That's something that many migrants here don't know. They feel like they're in a state of limbo here and that they will continue to be in a state of limbo as this Remain in Mexico policy is re-implemented. Again, the fear here from many migrant advocates is that migrant camps like this one, bottlenecks at the border like this, will get even worse. Craig?
I can't even imagine the conditions in which those folks are living beneath those tents there. Gabe Gutierrez.
We can't hear you, Case.
Oh, before we mention anything, according to this clip, Abel said it really is like this, like 45 minutes from my house. I happen to know he lives in California, so California is on some next level too when it comes to homelessness. But anyway, this is about the migrant situation at the Mexican border. Just horrendous. But let me give it back to the panel. Go ahead, guys.
John, take this one. Bring up the tweet that you sent us.
I mean, that's what I mean. Like, I did ask you to move the title, this when we talked about this, and we all, everybody's like, oh, even if you bring up the tweet that we shared with Biden last March says he will end this, and he restarted it, right? So he's doing the exact same thing, all these policies that Trumps are doing, and you don't see the news going crazy about it. You don't call it. They don't see. They're not selling you that. This is just not right. This is not humane and stuff. So it's like he did. I don't know. I like. Why would you say you're gonna end it and then restart it? And nobody's really talking about it and really saying how awful this is.
Well, I mean, he did restart it because of a court order. So that's that part. But on the flip side, he could have, make a new executive order or something. So, it's the reason for restarted it is, I guess, legitimate, you could say, but he also could do something else to stop it. Just make a new executive order, or I think who was it in the chat said just ignore the course. Like, what do you call him, the Mandarin Mussolini?
Yeah, that's what we have to do. It's true. Like, Biden could do whatever. He could do whatever because we have shown that Trump got away with anything. So, I mean,
he's not that much of a strong man, or maybe he just doesn't care. I think that's more what it is. I got one more clip that
in the chat, real quick. In the chat, it says that the court ordered it, but they said that Biden added other migrants too. So, like, he added more, like other, like not just. I don't know if like just Mexican or like people from Central America. So it looks like he added
what it is.
More.
Everybody in that area in the hemisphere, so including Haitians as well. Matter of fact, I'm going to show this clip, and I think it might mention it in this clip.
They see it. Lemire, as you say, they're trying to get rid of this program, but the Biden administration has picked up some backlash from progressives because they have not tried to get rid of Title 42, which I'll just say for the viewers, it's a policy that allows for the rapid expulsion of migrants in the U.S. without giving them the opportunity to apply for asylum. And they've actually, this is something that the administration has kind of consistently stayed with to this point. What's the latest there? Has there been any sort of rethinking in the Biden administration on this, or are they giving way to some of the pressure from immigration advocates, or is this something that's going to stay with us through the end of the pandemic beyond? Yeah.
Jonathan, and for the foreseeable future, it will stay on. But yes, as you mentioned, Title 42, this public health rule put in by the Trump administration to, get to expel migrants. And many of the migrants that have piled up on this side of the border so far, it's because of that. But migrant advocates are upset at not just that Title 42 is still around, but as they see it, they see this Remain in Mexico policy, this new version of it, so to speak, that it's also being expanded by the Biden administration, in that it doesn't just apply now to Spanish-speaking countries in the Northern Triangle, but it will also now apply to all countries in the Western Hemisphere. So Haitians, for example, will now be under the Remain in Mexico policy. You couple that with the continuance of Title 42, and yes, the Biden administration is now being pitted against many of the advocates in his own party who really say that the administration has not done enough to move away from the policies of the Trump administration, as you mentioned, John.
and then they expect us Latino to just vote for them without getting anything in return. Like I said, like people, Obama, he again, he deported the most out of us. Then look at Biden's doing this, and then they were like, oh wait, like vote for us, we are for you. And again, Latino people are not going to vote. In 2022, they're not going to vote. They're going to get destroyed. And like the left.
Maybe he's trying to get the Cuban vote.
Oof.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Good luck with that.
Well, they don't care about immigration except for when it's them. Well, a lot of Cubans. I'm gonna say everybody, but the right-leaning Cubans.
Yeah, they don't care about that. So
yeah, but the thing that people don't understand, or maybe they do sometimes, is no matter what they do, they're not gonna appeal to Republican lights. They can't be Republican light and then think that people are going to go to their side. No matter what they do, they're going to say that this guy have open borders. They're going to say it anyway. So there's no point in trying to placate or trying to be moderate in this, because they're going to say you have open borders no matter what you do.
I mean, that's what All for Nothing said. Placate those moderates, baby. And I mean, it's just like we talked about before. It's a losing strategy. It's always going to lose. They're going to keep doing it, and they're going to keep losing. And yeah, like John said, just putting away basically all Hispanic votes at this point, or Latino votes.
Yeah,
100%. All right. So, any last words on this before I move on?
I was just going to say the solution. We have to, revisit our immigration policies, improve them, create easier paths to citizenship that don't take years, if not decades, that we've heard about in some cases with many of the families of this panel. And just in the case of asylum is something that has been legal. It has been something that is the right way to come. And with this great resignation, it would be amazing if the Biden administration created high-paying jobs to process these types of applications, to help these people not live in squalor on the other side of the border. Why not create $30 an hour jobs for people to go and help process these applications and get these people safe?
Exactly. 100%. All right. All right, so we
got music for this one, huh?
Yeah, it had the music already built in. All right, we're going into no cow zone. For those people who don't know, this is the no cancellation zone, meaning that we're going to have very spirited debates, but we're not canceling anybody because we all love each other and we're all part of the left, and we're going to make sure we get left policies done.
So after last week, we must start
until the end, and then we start canceling people. We don't cancel in the beginning, but towards the end of the segment, then we cancel.
After last week, I don't know if this holds true, but
you guys are opposers. You're not no cancel zone. You're very much cancel zone.
Hey man, we let you back in the show, right?
I'm the only free speech advocate on this panel.
All right, so to set this up, I'm going to play this video real quick.
Elon Musk is suggesting a maximum age limit for those that want to run for president.
White House correspondent David Mortosco has been following the story, and he joins us now with more. David.
Well, Thomas, the Tesla founder tweeted this out of the blue, saying the maximum age for running for any political office in the U.S. should be a number just below 70. Now, that would rule out Joe Biden, who's 79. It would also stop 75-year-old Donald Trump from ever running again. But wait, more than 100 members of Congress are over 70, including 16 in their 80s, and most of them will run for re-election. It's hard to know if Musk was targeting any of them in particular, but he does cross swords with Bernie Sanders a lot. He's 79. Bernie tweeted recently that America's billionaires, like Musk, the world's richest man, should pay more taxes. And Musk shot back at 65. And air traffic controllers? Well, we don't trust them to keep us safe after age 56.
David Mortosco, thank you.
Now, all right. So basically, the no cow zone is, should politicians have a maximum age limit? So anybody could jump in. What you guys think?
I think that is fine. That age limit, I don't know. I don't think 70 is I think 70 is fine for a politician. When you got reaching 80, that's when you're pushing it. I'll say maybe 75.
So you are for a maximum limit?
I am for a maximum limit, but I don't think 70 is too low.
I think 70 is perfect. It's just, again, they go in there. Some of them, like, think about it, like, there'll be one of them going in there like 25, 30. Let's say 30 years old. They stay into 80. They're going to be in politics for 50 years. Like, it just, 70 is perfect. They have all this age limit. I think we talked about this in the show before. They have a age limit to be president. They should have an age limit when the same thing for judges. Judges in the court, they should have an age limit too. We talked about that. After a certain age, you should not be able to serve in the Supreme Court. Like, you should not die in the Supreme Court. And then,
so just to be clear, you said they have an age limit for president. You said that, right?
Yeah, they have an age limit. You have to
minimum
to be president.
I just
minimum.
I just
Sorry,
want to clear that. Yeah,
to be president. To be president, you have a minimum age. So why can't we have, So yeah, I think 70 is perfect. I would even go as low as 65.
Ages.
That's the retirement age, right?
So the retirement age is just the retire again. Are we all going to be there? We all going to be there one day. I think
that's if you can afford to retire, maybe.
That's the thing. That's my thing.
Not anymore.
Yeah, because isn't Social Security now up to like 69 or 70 or something like that?
I know, right?
So, but that's exactly my point. How can we expect people to have to work until they're 70, but then we say no, you can't be a congressman at 70? Like that, to me, I agree with Carlito. Like, actually, my number that I was thinking of probably would be around 75 too, because I mean, you can't be expected to work until you're 70, but not be able to be a congressman like a year after that. You know what I mean? So I don't see any reason why 70 is just too young to me. As we get older, as we progress as a society, people are doing better and better at 70. I know most of my family's, like my parents' generation, they're all like around that age, and it is. I mean, they're all just they're perfectly fine. I mean, they're a little crazy, but what family isn't? But they're of their right mind.
Well, let me ask you this question before somebody else talks. If we could bring back, because I agree with you, they pushing up the age of retirement and eligibility for Social Security to 69 or whatever. If we push it back down to 65, then would you be in favor, or you're with your number?
No, I'm just saying that like I at 70 years old these days, people are still very functional. Like I know 70-year-olds still playing tennis. Like legit playing tennis. Not like
nobody's saying that they can't work. We're just saying you can't just be. There's professions out there. I think like they said, air traffic controller. You can't be an air traffic controller.
But that's the stupidest comparison ever, because that job requires a hell of a lot more than it does a politician.
The politicians, these people are making all these. Like, have you seen a hearing with like this technology company? The questions that they ask.
That varies. It depends on the person.
Bernie, I've said it before. Bernie is more technically savvy on Twitter than I am. So
Bernie has a whole staff doing that.
Exactly.
That are 18 years old.
You just answered your own question.
What's the excuse for some of the young people that are dumb on the internet?
No, there's no excuse. What I'm telling you is that the way you have these people that been there, again, like we love Bernie and stuff like that. Bernie being there for 40 years. 40 years.
Yeah.
Like
okay, but then who is the most? But then to my point to that is, you think about the entire Senate, all 100 of them. Who do we like more than Bernie in the entire Senate? Pick one. Pick one person you prefer over Bernie in the entire Senate. Right? So the crickets are telling me that like he's still the best qualified out of all of them.
He's not the well point. Qualified. He's the exception. He's not the rule. He's the exception, not the rule, and you don't govern based on the exception.
But we don't. Okay, let me backtrack. What is Elon Musk's reason for having the age limit? Is it because of mental decline? Is it because you just don't like him?
No, but
that's a good question.
He just probably that with that. But have you seen Have you seen Biden? Like Biden, we know Biden when he's talked. We know there's again. I'm not trying to be insensitive and stuff. There's son like he can't form some type of sentence. What's the senator, the congresswoman from California? She's like 80 something years old. She be even forgetting. She's like 86. It's 87. Like
87. Yep.
So come on, like.
So that's high. That's a lot higher than what I said. I said like 75, or even 80. But it depends on your mental acumen, because some people. They go I mean, their brain starts working a lot younger than 80 or 70. So it varies by person.
I've always thought this. I've always thought that, you should have to retake your driver's test after a certain age, to prove that you're still proficient enough. Maybe forget the age limit. Maybe you have to retake some kind of aptitude test as a congressperson after a certain age to be like, are you still competent to do this? Are be medically
I thought
evaluated?
about that, but that can be abused. That could be abused one way or the other. All you need is one doctor or two doctors to say that you're fine or not fine. So I was definitely thinking about that. But I totally, I'm on the John train here. I don't know what the age is, but I think there needs to be an age. The one age I'm playing with is the average life expectancy age, which is right now 78 point something. So in that case, makes it at least make that the top age, because
so women can serve longer than men because they have a higher life expectancy.
No, it's the same age no matter what. That's it. Is one age.
But women have a higher life expectancy than men right now.
Yeah, that's true. They have for a long time.
It's the average of all people. This is not about gender and discrimination. This is the average of all ages. People can't have.
Is there anybody here like totally against having a limit?
I'm almost.
Okay, I'm with Carlito. I'm close.
Yeah, because it's like all right, let me go to the chat real quick, man.
I'm with Elon right here. I agree with Musk.
Let me go first. CMT said, well, Elon wants an age limit. Okay, let's just wait for the Republican Party to institute poll taxes with a test again. How about just term limits? And RIP Mike Gravel said, term limits are anti-democratic. The people love you there. White Sarah was second best. And I agree with that. Not for nothing said, I'm conflicted. It seems un-American in some way in that we're supposed to be the ones who elect our representatives. Who is the government to say certain people are ineligible?
If you're in favor of American democracy, you should be in favor of term limits to avoid a situation. Imagine if Donald Trump didn't have a term limit and he won by some craziness, then you're going to have Donald Trump for the next 20 years, like a Kim Jong-un.
But that's for the presidency. There are term limits.
Yeah, but I'm saying we've talked about it on this panel at length that we need it for we need term limits for everything. If we're not negotiating, we didn't agree on that. We don't agree that everyone should have term limits. I know it's the people that are okay with losing all the time and okay with the status quo that are okay with no term limits and no age limits.
Yeah, that's Carlito and easy for you.
It's the losers that are okay with term limits.
Listen, losing. All right,
let's
term limits
in there until she's 107 years old.
What is term limits going to solve, Gabe?
It's gonna at least make it a little bit easier to get somebody else in there, because when you're an incumbent, you automatically have an automatic advantage over the person coming in, and the party's going to be against you, the establishment's going to be against you, and of course the establishment can still pick their candidate and still back them a new candidate in a race, but at least it's two people with less name recognition.
Okay,
you get a slightly better chance.
All right,
so have somebody like Pelosi who is killing our party.
Well, hold up. What's the problem that we have? We have corporate capture, a big problem that we have. If you don't have if you do have term limits, somebody is just going to come in to do whatever the corporation gets them to do and leave because they got their job waiting for them. They know they can't be in office. They can't be a public servant, for as long as they want. They don't have the choice. So all they can do is be there for a term or two and get out. So what are they going to do? Well, let me get paid. So it's going to cause another problem. It doesn't solve anything.
Yeah, but Nancy Pelosi came into Congress. She was
that's one example, man.
No, that's not one example. That's just I could give you many examples, because how many of them are millionaires? Like, they go into politics, they worthless nothing.
But that's not because of the term limit.
40 years.
That's not necessarily because of the term limit. That's because they are allowed to buy stocks and have conflicts of interest with things that they legislate on. So that's
you don't think Pelosi right after she would be term limited, she would just go right into lobbying and make probably even more money than she was making as a congressperson? You don't think Crowley right now is probably making more money than he did as a congressperson?
Totally. I care less about the revolving door than about the door that while you're in there making money and making investments and then legislating based on investments that you have.
But that's a different. But your answer doesn't solve that. You need the answer will be to have restrictions of where you could put your money on.
So I think we need to have star voting. I think we need to not gerrymander districts, have independent boards that shape the maps of districts, and I think that would help with having a revolving door of politicians, because that's what we need. There was a time that there was a revolving doors of politicians, and when they didn't do something right, the district will kick them out. But that's when they gerrymandered, and you made super blue districts, and then you have people just being in Congress for like 40 years and stuff. So I think if we reverse that at the ground level, I think we would get an outcome that we have.
But you could also have an opportunity.
Well, you want anyone flying the plane you were traveling on, then everyone is not qualified to govern. So that's the same thing. For flying a plane, you got to take tests. You got to have fast reaction time. That's a different qualification than being a politician. And a politician, your mind got to be there. But not only that, you're supposed to be a government of the people. You want the average Joe to be able to go into office. If you're going to start to do like only specific people can be elected, then we run into an even bigger problem then.
But there's not a person there yet that said, I'm 69 years old, I'm going to be my first year going to politics. These people been into politics forever.
Before AOC, who was the 20-something-year-old saying, I'm a Latina from the Bronx, then I'm going to go into politics? Like that was, I mean, she was the first then too. We might see a lot of firsts happening.
But what I'm telling you is, so like you're not seeing. So if you're not going to address term limit, right? So then that would be at least the maximum age. So wait, so let me ask. So you guys don't agree then? So we shouldn't have term limits on the court either?
No, the court's a different story, because that's a guaranteed lifetime appointment that we have no say over, and we can't do anything about when things go wrong.
Politicians, you could vote them out. Politicians, you could vote them out.
Right. That's different.
And that's why I said, you could have a maximum limit, maybe, but 70 is just too young.
And by the way, Donald Trump is 75, so that means that he was like around 69, John, when he first entered politics.
There you go.
The exception. Everyone likes the exceptions.
He was 70.
No, but John was saying that when you ever see a 69-year-old man.
No, he was 70 something. He was not 69.
He's 75 right now. He's 75. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, somebody that hasn't been into politics, that sees something in their neighborhood, or their district that they really care deeply about, and they decide to run to try to fix it. You're gonna tell me, nah, you're too old. It could be somebody's sharp mind, everything. I mean, come on, man.
I'm not going to legislate for the exception. I'm going to legislate for the rule.
Let's think about how when we were, in our teens or early 20s, and we're like, damn, when you get to 30-year-old, man, when you get to 40-year-old, and look at us now, we're nowhere near, like there's probably people listening to us right now, like these young ass kids, like what the hell do they know?
It's not about young.
So, like, but my point is, when we're gonna get to 50 and 60, we're gonna be like 70's nothing. I'm still good at 70. I still feel fine now.
Yeah, but we're not saying you can't work. Just tell them they could go be lobbyists at 70. Just get them.
So you rather than be lobbyists in Congress people? What the hell?
Can we all agree on 79, 78, which is the average life expectancy? Is that the compromise position?
Dave, don't agree with them, Gabe. You with me. Gabe, it's 70. We were Elon, Gabe.
I'm trying to get a bill done, unlike Joe Biden, okay? I'm trying to get this agreement.
Wait, this is how bad you are. So they said 75, and you were like, oh, no, by the way, let's agree on 79. So you just gave them something.
That's because me and Carlito are good negotiators. We started from where we, the bottom, and then we
Gabe, they said 75. You like the Democrats right now when they give you an extra 10 billion to the military. You gave them 5 extra years for no reason.
Now I get that, and what am I gonna get in return? We're gonna get term limits. All right, so you gotta.
I don't co-sign that bill anymore. Sorry, rip it up. Unless you start running my puppy like
we already had a great deal. Why are you gonna ruin it?
All right, that was a good time to move.
He just muted us.
All right, let's go on to the next topic. So this is a doozy. This might be a newsie. This might be a doozy because we got 6 minutes, and that's why I want to keep it moving. to end off the show. So the last no-cow zone is Stacey Abrams is running again for the governor of Georgia. And, you know, right now, the Republicans, she's sitting pretty because the Republicans are going to fight it out. You have, who's your current governor's name?
Brian Kemp.
And then they got the Purdue guy is the Trumper. So you got these two people going to be butting heads. So potentially, whoever comes out of the primary, the other people, so let's say the Trumper gets in there, the establishment might be like, I'm not going to vote for that guy. But let's say the Trumper doesn't get in there and Kemp gets back in there, then the Trumpers are going to be like, we're not going to vote for that guy. Meaning that it's going to be very easy for whoever's the Democratic nominee to get in there. So, John, you confused about something?
I had a question. Is Purdue the guy that was run for Senate that lost the Senate race?
No. I thought it was the former governor of Purdue. He was a former governor of Purdue, I think.
Oh, okay. I don't know. But I know he was in office before, though. I feel like he was in office before.
Yeah, I think he was the guy. He was a former governor, and he's trying to run again.
Okay. So, the point is, Stacey Abrams can be easy sailing straight into the nomination and maybe straight to the first black woman ever in the whole country, not just Georgia, but first black woman governor of a state. But should we let her? Meaning, should the left primary Stacey Abrams with a very solid progressive? What do you guys think? Should I go to Carlito first since you're in Georgia? What you guys think?
Carlito last.
Carlito last. All right.
All right. Carlito, you cool with that?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna get canceled.
Anybody else?
Because he lost the last calzone. He's like, Carlito goes last.
No. I mean, because like he's in Georgia. If he goes last, I mean, he's gonna give us a different perspective. If he says something like, oh yeah, let's do this, it's like for me, I would say no. Like I don't think we should.
Okay, I had the wrong Purdue. It is the guy that lost for Senate.
Yeah, the guy that lost in the Senate seat, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
But
this is starting off interesting already. John is saying we should not primary Stacey Abrams. Is that what you're saying?
Not primary or not let her run?
You should not primary her.
No, she can run. She can do whatever she wants.
No, from the left, you should not primary her because in the left in Georgia, a left candidate is not going to have zero chance of winning. Right? If you have
John.
It's Georgia, bro. It's Georgia. Like we're talking about Georgia. Like,
no, I'm not saying nothing yes or wrong. I'm just
don't say anything yet, Carlito. Hold on.
Like,
hold on. Don't play your hand.
You have Georgia. We're talking about Georgia.
Oh shoot. CMT Chris, PJ Chris is agreeing with John. No primary on Abrams.
No primary her. She's gonna have the black vote. She's going to, even though she's not whatever, but she could go. She's going to bring people out, and she may even get a little bit some Republican on her side, maybe not sure. But the left, a progressive in Georgia has zero chance of winning. So why just focus on another race? That's just my opinion.
My opinion is John's about to go 0 for 2 on no calzones today because I think that I guess my point is a primary. What do you have to lose? At the very least, you get her to maybe move a little bit more to the left, as we see sometimes happening in primaries. We don't like you said, whoever the progressive challenger is probably isn't going to get a lot of traction. But what do you have to lose, really? I mean. It's a way to show that we're not just gonna vote blue no matter who. We're gonna get out the vote. We're gonna get people energized, and hopefully bring Abrams maybe back a little more to the left or to the left, however you want to look at it. I don't think you have anything to lose by doing it.
My question is, what would that even look like? What would a left candidate, because you might be able to advocate for like a Medicare for all kind of system at the state level, even though I hear that's really hard to do. But what would that? You guys have any ideas on that?
A Charles Booker. It could look like I'm trying to think of some other good candidates that we've had recently.
Charles Booker ran for the Senate.
It's going to look like
somebody. I know, but I'm just saying, someone like him. He ran in the Senate, but he ran in the state that was never gonna, that we thought would never elect him.
So we're thinking differently, Izzy. Hold on, John. Let me just make sure I'm clear. Like I said, as far as a governor. You have almost like the presidency, you have a lot of power as far as executive orders and what you want to advocate. So for example, what was his name? Ben Jealous. he was advocating for a state, in Maryland, Medicare for all, and to team up with other states so that they can have like a trifecta of Medicare for all. They can share the resources. So that's something legitimately. So that's why I said Charles Booker is not a great example because he's going to go in the Senate. He can't do something like that. You understand what I'm saying, Izzy?
I hear you. I'm just saying the platform. I'm just talking about the platform overall. Like, the idea. You're saying like, what does a left progressive candidate look like in Georgia? I mean, from a platform perspective, yeah, we're kind of agreeing because we're both saying Medicare for all essentially, right? That's what Charles Booker was for too. So
yeah, he was for that too. I know that Stacey Abrams was for free pre-K. I think when she ran last time at the governor at the state level. What you said, Izzy?
I mean,
Listen,
whatever.
A left candidate in Georgia in that primary is going to look like somebody is wasting their time and money. So, it's just not. But
interesting. Gabe, what you think?
So, as somebody who wants to get people like Joe Manchin and actually remove them from the party, and Kirsten Sinema and remove them from the Democratic Party, my beef is now with Stacey Abrams. I think that she's put in the work. She won last time, except they robbed it from her. My biggest problem is that she didn't fight more at that point, but she has put in the work. I think in the chat they were talking about how she's raised over $200 million to pay off medical debt for a lot of people. That's a shout out to PJ Chris. And also she's been heavily involved in voter rights and voter rights restoration and registering people to vote. So she's put in the work, and I think she will be a shoo-in if she gets in, based on how close she came last time, and we really think that she won. So I think that in this case, let her get that one, and then if she doesn't hold it down, then in that case, primary her the next time. But we got enough battles to fight with the other conservatives. She's, center. There's a lot of other battles I want to fight, and I think wasting money on a primary there is wasted resources when we should be pointing it somewhere else.
All right, the last person that we've all been waiting for.
Yo, I'm like, my jaw.
Carlito!
Crazy, my jaw, crazy. I expected everybody to be like primary out of her, man.
That's my vote, by the way.
I was ready. I was ready with this. Because I'm for primary everybody, but there's nobody.
There's nobody.
So wait,
in Georgia right now. Challenge her.
So Easy said I'm going 0-for-2. Looks like he's taking the L.
I don't know about that. Just because Carlito says it doesn't make Well, we got 2 against 3 actually. Yeah, we took that. Sorry.
I mean, they could be advocates. I mean, people should push her, but I agree with what Gabe was saying too, which is like, damn, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? I'm with Gabe, but also because. When it comes to her, like when she ran the first time, when she won the primary the first time, she's really a climber. She's not like that progressive to begin with. She just happened to be arguably a little bit more progressive than the person she went against. I think her license was also Abrams for the primary. But her strategy is what convinces me of her. Her strategy is one that all of us agree on, which is you don't need to be trying to, cut to the middle to get people that maybe they won't, and then you dilute your message, dilute your platform for those middle, moderates that, they're fictional or whatever. She is a person that's like, let us get our base out, let's get our people out, and we win. And that's how she could have won in Georgia. She won, but there was so much cheating going on. It was ridiculous last time for governor. So she's the type of maybe not the sad candidate that we like, but she's the type of politician that we like in the way that she runs campaigns, which is let's get our base out and we win.
And she's gonna get the black vote. She's gonna get the black vote out. She's gonna have the black vote excited. They're gonna vote, and
she's one of the reasons why Georgia went blue last election. That's presidential.
The reason.
I wouldn't be mad. See, that's the reason why I asked that question. Like, what specific thing that Stacey Abrams would not be for normally, that if we had a left primary, her to kind of push her towards whatever that is, and at the state level as a governor, I can't think of a policy, maybe decriminalizing drugs or something.
Voting
like
rights. She's just fighting for voting rights. That's her main,
Yeah.
she could get rid of that in Georgia. That's just a huge win because we know
and also
Georgia does all these crazy things.
Decriminalizing marijuana, I think that's pretty much a Democratic staple now. Like, it's a norm now. Biden is not doing it, unfortunately, but I think it's become normalized enough that I'll be surprised if she vetoed, decriminalizing marijuana. All right, let's go to the chat, and then we're going to end the show. Much love to my people and everybody. Thank you so much for being here. So much love. There's a couple new names. Aaliyah is in the chat. Much love to you. R.I.P. Mike Gravel. Much love to you. PJ Ware Pilgrim is in the chat. Much love. It's good seeing you. I was also in the Vanguard earlier. Had great time with Zach and Gavin over there. So much love to my Vanguard people. PJ Chris, much love. Anybody want to highlight anything before we go? Much love to Paul Patrick. Who else? All right, so let me go around the horn one last time to my guys. John, any last words before we head out of here?
Nope. PC is 0-2 today. Me and Gabe 2-0.
I don't know. Now your math is wrong. That's bad because you're in finance. It's 1-1. I won the first one.
According to who?
According to everybody. You were the only one that took the L on the first one.
We got Gabe to come up. To come up in age.
That's not you guys didn't want an age, so we got an age done.
Gabe
with me. You, me, and Carlito all agreed 79 or 78, and then John was the only. He was the
Gabe, you did that?
Yeah.
I said
compromise.
We came up with a compromise of 79.
This is why
well, it could change because of the life expectancy. And
this is why you're not welcome in my house anymore, Gabe.
All right. Gabe, any last Izzy, you guys talked about this. Carlito, any last word?
Hey, like, subscribe, join the Discord.
Yeah.
And shout out to Bedon, who was in the chat earlier too. He didn't get any love. He wanted some love.
Thank you so much, Izzy, for
I was sending some love, but can't hear it anyway.
Join the Patreon, send some super chats. Remember, this is all the labor of love for Case, because Case is really the progressive producer. All those clips that he makes are used by all of your favorite channels. So all of the money that comes in doesn't go to us, it's going to Case's new computer fund. So we want to make sure that he has the appropriate tools to do the work for the progressive community.
I mean, look at that. He didn't even have any music today. What kind of crappy computer is that?
As of right now, it's paying
Commodore
for
64.
It's paying for StreamYards as of right now too. So until we gotta get enough money, so hopefully we could get a new laptop. But it's all good. Much love to my peoples. I just want to give love to the Patreons that we do have. So let me show that here. Nancy Vancha, Pedro Hernandez, Nancy. Oh, I put Nancy.
Boom, Nancy Vancha. So good.
I just realized that. PJ Chris in the building, Akbash Akita, and I'm missing somebody now because I know it's 5 people.
Oh man,
we almost got through the whole episode.
Next week,
we'll Trump Productions, baby.
So much love to everybody. See, we can't even play the music out because we don't have our main guy, producer Bendone. But there you go, Gabe is playing us out. But much love to everybody.
If the show was more polished, you wouldn't like us, man. We keep it real.
You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that. Thank you for coming out. Much love to everybody. See y'all next Monday. And at some point, we're going to announce holiday breaks because Christmas is coming up and New Year's coming up. So we're going to be taking off. But I think we'll all be here next Monday, right, everybody?
Not me, but yeah.
Step easy.
I will be here. I'm going to be driving in the van.
Oh, Gabe is going to be there. So we're going to get some guests. I'm going to have some
special
people
guests
jumping in. Much love to y'all. Adios. Peace.